Winston, do you have your passport?
Winston, here's your passport.
On Saturday, June 24th, we embarked on an 11-hour road trip from Bozeman, Montana to beautiful Revelstoke, British Columbia. I had the opportunity to road trip with my friends Jeremy, Carly, and my backseat buddy Winston while the rest of the crew was en route as well. Bike Week was officially underway, with 10 days of epic riding and time with amazing company thanks to the impressive planning of Luke and Reed. Turns out the tent I borrowed for this trip was missing poles, and Matt also forgot his tent poles. After bargaining our way into other sleeping arrangements for the night, we enjoyed a fire before bed and prepared for our first full day in Revy. After crawling over Jared twice, only to discover that his tent did indeed have 2 doors, the crew assembled to get the legs moving and take every wrong turn to ensure we accidentally did as much uphill as possible at the Mount McPherson Trails. Thanks to Snack Mom Carly, we were prepared for it. Despite being a bit of a slog, there was undoubtedly some fun to be had. Just before our first descent of the trip, we stumbled upon a ton of wild huckleberries and decided to stock up to make delicious huckleberry pancakes the next day. Look how happy huckleberries make Alex. After some calculated line selection,
I think I'm gonna do this.
and deciding who to follow,
Not if you are, I'll go behind you. Okay. Who's going?
I'm gonna hop in behind Luke.
it was finally time to ride. The end of our first ride called for a little rejuvenation by jumping into a frigid river, and before we knew it, we were all aboard for a shuttle we didn't even know was happening, once again thanks to Luke. And we ended up riding what were arguably the best trails of the entire trip. Honestly, world-class downhill, steep routes, and perfect features. It does not get much better. See for yourself.
Big jumps and blind landings. Wow, okay.
Seems like they get progressively bigger.
From the sign, it's intimidating. I was almost expecting big doubles.
This looks fun.
Yeah, it does.
Fuck this rock though, dude. Just being a steward out here. Sick.
Boosted that fourth one.
Thanks.
Like you were 3 feet higher than the rest of us.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Scotty. Scotty, go. Ah! Oh, boy, did I almost run over your dog.
What'd she do?
I think she got a little nervous. It was steep. She was kind of sliding in the dust and then just stopped. She did good though. Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, Dusty with a chance of meatballs. Oh my God. Dude, I saw that happening and I just saw Matt falling off that freaking bridge, not being able to unclip. Oh, wow.
Oh, sorry.
I feel like the corner's the scariest part for me.
Yeah.
After an unbelievable first day of riding and everyone stepping out of their comfort zones, we made it back to camp unscathed, and Chef Master Matty cooked up some unbelievable curry and naan, and we hung out at camp before getting a good night's sleep in preparation for the next day of riding. While I chose to sleep in and neglect my poor breaks from the previous day, I woke up to a bike maintenance party where we accidentally took over our neighbor's campsite. Sorry, neighbors. We loaded up for a short 10-minute trip from our campsite to Revelstoke Mountain Resort to ride some gondola access downhill. It was hard to believe this was only our second day of riding after what we had already packed in the previous day, and this was our unbelievable view from the parking lot. You may realize this is a theme from the trip, but we were stoked to ride some bikes. Truthfully, the first part of our day at Revy Bike Park was underwhelming. The laps start and end with a brief uphill, which is unusual for a bike park from my experience, and we seemed to pick all of the wrong trails. We rode one flow trail that was still open but actively undergoing maintenance. The double black diamond trail mostly lacked tech aside from a cool steep line at the bottom.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. It got a little gnarly. It got a little gnarly.
And some of the other flow trails we rode honestly weren't steep enough to get a good flow without riding it like an XC course. Of course we still had fun, but you can't help but compare it to other bike parks you've ridden. At one point, Alex described the trail as interesting, and when I told him that he could be honest, he said it sucked. Turns out, Revy Bike Park does have incredible trails, and we just took half the day to find them. That may have something to do with the fact that the mountain is 4,000 vertical feet and we took over an hour for our first collective run from top to bottom. Seriously, this place is massive. Once we finally found the good stuff, then we started sending it.
No feeling sorry for
On the 4th day of the trip and our 3rd day in Revelstoke, we loaded up to shuttle the Martha Creek Trail, which turned out to be an absolute treat for everything but my poor hands. We loaded up on essentials for the day.
How do our jetty coolers look?
Full of beer.
Any licorice?
Maybe.
And then left camp to enjoy a beautiful drive to the top of the shuttle. I mean, damn. After wrapping up our shuttle logistics and finishing the drive, the view at the top was absolutely stunning. The Canadian Rockies are truly something special. We began our descent, which would prove to be a relentless chunder, but a whole lot of fun.
Damn. Yeah.
Martha Creek was an epic ride, and the entire squad was pretty worn out after this one due to the relentless choppiness of the rocks and roots. Those of us not responsible for running shuttle enjoyed some snacks and beer at the lake before we finally headed back to camp. Damn, what a ride. We took showers at the campsite, and Alex and I had what I thought was one of the funniest experiences of our whole trip. There were 3 showers with Alex in the middle and me to the right of him. Alex, will you toss me the soap? Yeah, you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Where's the soap? I have the soap. Kinky, which stall are you in? I'm to the right of you. Do you want the soap back? Says the random man who unknowingly had the soap tossed at him. And he tosses it back to Alex, who tosses it back to me. All cleaned up, it was tea time. After wrapping up the game with no idea of the final score, I enjoyed the beautiful sight of Matt doing some sunset bike maintenance for our last night in Revelstoke. We began day 5 with yet another breathtaking drive as we headed to Kicking Horse Mountain Resort. With a bit of a slow start and a couple-hour drive, we leisurely took our time in the parking lot as we waited until 12:30 to buy half-day tickets. Plus, the bikes weren't going to maintain themselves. Look at Jared's chain.
They call him Daddy Bentley.
But it would take a whole lot more than a bent chain to bring Jared down.
Nobody can touch my swag. Nobody can deal with my swag.
Afternoon arrived and we loaded up on the Golden Eagle Express to reach the summit of Kicking Horse. Once again, we were mind blown by the sheer size of the mountain. The amount of vertical you cover in a single run is absolutely astounding.
Kicking Horse Mountain Resort, first time here. Freaking stunner of a view. It's pretty fast for sure.
Say my name. I'm in the say my name.
Freaking gorgeous, gorgeous.
I'm in the say my name. I'm in the say my name.
We had the opportunity to ride not only some of the most beautiful trails I've ever seen, but some of the most unique features I've ever ridden as well. Unfortunately, our group did suffer a couple casualties on this gnarly rock slab that a GoPro does no justice to how steep it is. Carly sent it faster than any of us and decided that the catch berm at the end was merely a suggestion. She was banged up, but okay. Zach had an unfortunate crash that would leave him with an injured shoulder and end his bike week prematurely, but he was still a trooper and is always good company. Some of the group did a quick pedal after our day at the resort to get the dogs moving, and then we headed to Radium Hot Springs to nurse our aching bodies while enjoying a beautiful mountain sunset. We set up camp and enjoyed another night around the fire in preparation for the drive to Fernie the following morning. Kicking Horse officially had our stamp of approval. Our day at Fernie began with a relentless ice war in the parking lot to ensure everyone was feeling loose and confident for the day of biking ahead. Chairlifts were a welcome change from the gondola biking we did at Revelstoke and Kicking Horse, and Fernie's bike park was much more like what we're used to. Lots of laps with a reasonable amount of vertical. Truthfully, Fernie had it all. Amazing berms.
Yoo! Oh my god!
Fun tech.
Absolutely ripping, boys!
Good jumps. And, once again, magnificent views. few runs into the day, Alex and I dropped into the double black diamond trail called Kodiak Carnage. In general, if we see a double black diamond, we ride it. Kodiak Carnage ate us both and spit us out. The trail was unbelievably steep, slick, and raw.
Alex, are you okay? Take your time.
That was no joke.
No, dude, this is so gnarly. This is insanely steep. You yard sailed, dude.
Fully? Let me get in my head.
I made it out with merely a golf ball on my shin, and although Alex was rattled and sore, it wasn't anything that an unhealthy amount of ibuprofen couldn't take care of. We rode Fernie until they kicked us off the mountain at 7 p.m. and then headed to our first and only Airbnb of the trip to enjoy a full kitchen, hot tub, showers, and a nice bed. We made the most of our time in that Airbnb, getting up to unusual shenanigans as our crew does. Jared stumbled upon a new white girl beverage he became a big fan of called Nude, and here's what Matt had to say about them.
Well, all this reading about having fun with friends, big boobs in my face, really works up quite a thirst. Fortunately, I have a selection of nude, same nudes as they say. Tastes of pink lemonade. Tastes like a White Claw. Except it's more expensive.
And Luke wanted to give his 2 cents as well.
Well, that was it.
Our final full day in Canada was a lovely rest day in Fernie, where we only pedaled 8 miles. We rode some fun trails despite seriously lacking energy, and I tried and failed a few times to wheelie across this bridge with handlebar width railings. We enjoyed a delicious meal together before packing our belongings in preparation to leave bright and early to head back to Legacy Bike Park in Montana for an epic tail end of our trip, the 7th annual Bike Fest hosted by Reed and Megan.
Make up for what I lost. I was down, but things are looking up. I wanna get high on you.
Unfortunately, Reed was not able to ride on this trip due to a broken wrist, yet he and Megan still drove out from Washington after organizing it all. Despite the injury, Reed still brought the stoke.
You guys gonna go biking?
Yeah, we're gonna go biking.
Bike Fest to me is about much more than just riding bikes. It's about reconnecting with an amazing group of friends every year, many of who I don't get to see often anymore. We arrived at Legacy on Saturday morning, set up camp, and enjoyed an awesome day at the bike park. Legacy runs a seriously unique operation with epic trails utilizing modified flatbeds and huck wagon bike trailers to haul us up the mountain to enjoy some world-class downhill trails. After riding, we piled into a couple trucks to enjoy a dip in Flathead Lake before Talia and Brock chefed up a delicious dinner with a gorgeous view of the lake and mountains peeking through the trees. We enjoyed good company and games to close out our first day of Bike Fest, already anxiously awaiting day 2 with this amazing group. Day 9 of the trip and day 2 of Bike Fest began with more epic shuttle laps before we started a super progressive session on the jumps near camp. Chris asked if I had thought about a backflip, having never done one to dirt himself, and truthfully, being so close to the end of the trip, I was stoked to be in one piece. That said, I did have some unfinished business backflipping a bike, and I knew this was the perfect opportunity, so the session was on.
Should I just toss it?
How you feeling?
I think I can do it, dude.
enormous thank you to Chris for helping to make that happen, and major props to him for landing at first try. The squad sessioned on, and watching everyone progress in such a short amount of time was absolutely awesome. Some more shuttle laps followed before another evening of shenanigans. Oh, you thought Bike Fest was over? Not until one more progressive jump session with the whole squad hyping everyone up. Not to mention Chris and Luke getting tips from Kyle Strait himself. Awards commenced shortly after the session, and Jared was crowned the King of Bike Week while Chris earned the title of Bike Fest Champion. Bike Week has come and gone once again, and it's become more than just an annual event. It's a legacy.